Hey there, Ghouls and Ghosts. Welcome to Seven Scorpion Tarot. I am your host with the most, and I want to welcome you to today's reading. So happy 11/11, everybody. Happy Veterans Day today. I know I'm a little bit off with the holiday today. I keep thinking it's Sunday, and it is actually Monday. So I keep getting a little bit confused. But I hope everybody is having a good Monday, regardless of if you're working today, if you're not, whether or not you're celebrating the 11/11 portal, if you're doing anything special. I know I had heard of a fun, like a candle ritual to do for 11/11. You take a piece of paper and you write whatever your wish is on it, fold it up, draw a lemniscat on it, so the infinity symbol, and then 11/11 in the negative spaces within that. And then you read your wish either to yourself or out loud, whatever works for you, 11 times each day for 11 days. And then on the 12th day, you burn it carefully. So I'm going to try that myself and get that started because that sounded like fun. I thought it would be a nice little ritual to set my sights forward because I don't know about y'all, but I've still been struggling with the post-election blues myself. So I want to shift that mindset a bit forward. Um, and today, I don't know if you can tell from the color scheme, I've got my red candles, my red arm warmers out. So I'm channeling the anger into constructive color coordination. And it's tough. Like, I think it's important to sit with those feelings, to give them some space. So, I gave myself this 3-day weekend, have a little time to just kind of give the finger to the world and do my own thing and just get some space, because that's really what I needed. I just needed some space to process, to be upset. I'm sure there will be more of that coming. Um, a lot more of that coming. Blah, I don't even want to think about it. But one of the things I did today was I went women centric with my deck choices. So I've got the Isis Oracle by Elena Fairchild, the Pulp Tarot, a lot of women featured in the art there, and Women in Myth. That's this deck here. So I don't really have much of any notes today. I just kind of wanted to wing it. Is with that 11/11, I like to think of that as an opportunity to get in alignment with the authentic self. Every day is an opportunity for that, but that number sequence, I think it really lends to that balance of the persona, the ego, the self. So we'll be following the same reading structure that I've been doing for the last few, of the self down the middle, and then the personal unconscious, so the shadow side, and the collective unconscious, and then go into the ego and the persona. And I'm basing this on the Jungian map of the soul. And just to dig around in there of what do we need to process, what do we need to be aware of that could potentially be either facilitating or blocking our manifestations. And those manifestations, like when I first started listening to other readers and looking into spirituality, there's a lot of these vague terms like, manifestation and how do I make that happen. I think there's a lot in the personal healing journey that once we begin to process those things, we start naturally taking steps towards the life that we want. Because unless we get in touch with that authentic self, how are we even going to know what life it is that we truly want? So let's grab some cards. Let's kind of dig around there. I know it's a little bit of a vague prompt, but we'll let the cards speak for themselves. Get started here. I love this deck. The Pulp Tarot. I keep eyeballing his other deck, the horror one. I think it's Todd Alcott who makes this. So we'll grab, I'm going to put the authentic self here up top. So like you can think of that as your higher self, and then the root of self. I think Monday is, what is that? I'm trying to think of Monday in Spanish. It's been a minute. So moon would be the association to Monday. Trying to learn the celestial associations to days of the week. And there's a big moon phase coming up later this week too. The full moon in Taurus on the 15th. Should be some interesting energies with, I think Mars is going to retrograde soon. And Venus is now in Capricorn. Interesting combinations there. A little quiet today. So what's like going on in the higher self? Something hidden? Gonna see the High Priestess, maybe? Oh, here we go. Queen of Pentacles. I love this card. I like that she is holding it like a pew-pew. And just like all the flowers and the way she's glitzed up. And it's really cool. So, and I think this is very fitting, this artwork here, for at least the way I know I'm feeling right now with the way things are going. Just like I've seen some rage bait out on the interwebs of some really nasty things people are saying. So I definitely get the vibe. So defending that material realm, that's certainly what I'm feeling with this card. The Queen of Pentacles, the other deck that just came to mind is the Game of Thrones deck. It's Lady Olenna, the um, inspiration for every Tinder bio out there. Like, be a dragon. I love her. Um, but she's the Queen of Pentacles on or in that deck. And let's see. Oh, more pentacles. A lot going on in the material realm right now that makes a lot of sense. What was I saying? Oh, so in the show, you can really see how fierce she is at defending her family legacy of the Tyrells and the length she went to try and protect her granddaughter, Marjorie. Um, so a good character profile for the Queen of Pentacles. So what came here out at the root here is a Four of Pentacles, so holding on to what you have. And he's in quicksand here. It looks like, is that a centipede? It looks like it. He's got like a centipede on his neck, and it looks like a centipede, not like a tattoo. Huh. Gross. Looks, I mean, I would also be alarmed. Although, I would probably set the monies down and get it off of me. But that really lends to the theme of this card of the Four of Pentacles, because in the, the Rider Waite, it's a man, and he's got like 2 feet on 2 pentacles, and then he's like holding one and then has another in his hat. So like none of them can get away from him. But he's not in multi-legged peril uh or in quicksand in that. And it looks like he in the foreground here there's a rock or something. So if he would just put the money down, he might be able to grab onto the rock and save himself. So I know this certainly speaks to a lot of the emotions I've been feeling recently, just in that fear of not wanting to let any gained ground go. Very alliterative. Um, alliterative. There we go. Words. But like I could see this, what's being conveyed in the emotion here, bleeding into our psyches. And, like those of us who understand taxes feel a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth right now about, this is the first year I've ever had to pay in, and we want more of that. Whatever. And the Six of Pentacles is a really cool card. So it came out reversed, but we'll take a look at the imagery in the upright. So he's got the scale tattooed on his hand, and he's dishing out, like, this looks like a corpse hand that he's giving coins to. Like, it doesn't look like rotting or anything, but the color is like sallow. Is that the right word? So generosity of spirit is blocked. I think with that combination there of the stinginess of the Four of Pentacles and the Six being in the reverse, not feeling, and her expression too, not feeling in a very giving mood right now, which I get. I totally get. I don't think we really need a ton of clarification on that. But let's see. Do personal unconscious, so the shadow. See what might be hiding. This could be fears. This could be the fear behind this face. Maybe I'm feeling some like resistance towards feminine rage, which I don't like that phrase at all. But like many a time in my life, I've been criticized for being too angry. Not 100% sure what that means. um, it was never the anger itself that was the issue. It was the way in which I express it, which, oh my God, I want to barf. um, I have been, because I'm a metalhead, I love metal. I've been criticized so many times for my music being too angry, and why don't I listen to something else? And I do, like when I feel like it, but other times when I'm not angry, I listen to metal. Sometimes when I'm angry, I listen to metal. Like it's whatever, it's a preference. And I remember like my creative writing, like poetry and whatnot, being criticized for being too dark or whatever. And it was never, it wasn't about the subjects I was writing about. It's that they were too intense, that they were too dark, like too much feeling. And the criticisms I was getting weren't necessarily, or at least I wasn't hearing, um, like even constructive criticism about my writing at that point, which I could have used, things to improve my prose, what have you. I am not a professional writer. Who knows? Maybe I could have been. But that always just, and still does. Sorry, I've got the sniffles. And no mute button. Sorry. Um, but it just grinds my gears that like I could be sad, I could be happy, I could be this, that, and the other thing, but God forbid a woman be angry. Goodness gracious. Not like we don't have things to be angry about. Glad I pulled out my red deck. But and then see even that little like cycle I just got into just now, that unwillingness to accept my emotions magnified them. Like they're not accomplishing, I guess, the desired goal to make me less angry. Like, don't feel the way you feel different. Yeah. So, Six of Cups reversed. Okay. So, this is the nostalgia card. So, seeing the past for what it is. Um, accepting, and this came out in the shadow side, so accepting those past memories, like take the rose colored glasses off. And this even kind of has like, it's got that old, like vintage feel to it with like the art, the little, what are those little dolls or the little glass figurines called? Porcelain, whatever's. But it's got that like sepia tone a little bit. It's got kind of a denim feel in the background. But so we've got two sixes in reverse, so two nines approaching completion. So completion of the cycle we're in, maybe, which fits with the celestial weather because next Tuesday Pluto will be in Aquarius. So we're in that last death rattle of Pluto in Capricorn for the rest of our lives. So I think there in the personal unconscious, this is just seeing the past for what it is, or even just seeing situations for what they are, because we can get nostalgic for ideas of and around like situations that are presently playing out. Like having that nostalgia for yesteryear and failing to recognize the reality of now. And I used to, when I was younger, I would say, I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. And then say the most like Debbie Downer thing you've ever heard. Um, I think being compassionate with yourself right now, that fuse might be a bit short, which is understandable. And do your best not to lash out at people. None of us are perfect. It's gonna happen. Just take accountability if it does. You know, try to do better next time. That's all you can do. I can do. So let's get one for the ego. See what's going on. What's cooking on the ego side. So maybe because the persona is going to be that very outer edge of what we present to the outer world. Um, and in celestial terms, that would be like your rising sign. So, like, I'm an Aquarius rising. I think your rising sign is that the sign that was on the eastern horizon when you were born? I think that's right. I think so. So the ego might have some identity stuff going on. It could be breaking down. Some aspects of ego might be breaking down to lend to the true self to get to these defensive, I don't want to use the word bitter. That word is coming to mind, but defensive hurt feelings. As they say that the ethereal they say that anger is a secondary emotion. And while my unqualified self agrees with that, I also sort of disagree with that. Because I think it's both a primary and a secondary emotion. I'm sure the dude from the 80s, um, that came up with, well, one of the um, authors on that original hypothesis paper, etc., um, might have something to say about, me saying it's both. But I think there's a failure to recognize the complexity of anger by only putting it in a secondary category. Um, so that came out like it kind of slid off the top of the deck, and I set it down sideways, but it was going to come out reversed. Uh, so 9 of Cups. Man, this reading kind of hurts a little bit. So this is the Independence card in the reverse in the ego. So I'm going to say ego took a big blow. I love this card. I love that she's got, the tie, and she's got the great, like, they almost look like checkered heels, but the whiskey, very, very Mad Men. Um, but it came out reversed, so definitely a hit to those feelings of independence. And we're not in Gilead yet. We're not there yet. I know there are a lot of existing organizations that are doing what they can. They will likely need our help. Say do what you can as what's appropriate for you, and not overextending yourself as well, because it's important to take care of yourself first, put on your oxygen mask first, and then get to the rest of us. But this 9 of Cups in reverse in the ego side, I don't really know what to say other than that is the blow to there's so many different groups affected. I know I'm speaking from my position. Women were hit pretty hard by the outcome of this election. There are a lot of legitimate fears. I would say if you are struggling with those fears, if you have somebody in your life who's struggling with those fears, grab a coffee, talk about it. I went out with a couple of gal pals. It would have been the day after the election, so like the 6th, and we had pho, and that's such a comfort meal. Just like the hot soup, and it was snowing, and it was exactly what the 3 of us needed. And I highly recommend, if you're struggling right now, and as struggles come up, reach out to your people. This can be insidious, that feeling of perceived or actual loss of independence. And if someone is opening up to you about that's how they feel, it is so easy to do the toxic positivity thing and be like, everything's going to be fine, and just dismiss the concern with going straight for a positive outcome. Take the time to pick apart the feeling, to sit with it, digest it, validate it. That's really what these feelings need, is validation right now. So let's get a card for the collective unconscious. So this will be like what's going on with all of us, like maybe a shared theme, projection potentially. All right. Let's see. The moon. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go listen to Heads Will Roll. That just popped up in my head, like the yeah, yeah, yes. Or Maps. I also love that song, Maps. Um, so the moon, the unknown is what's haunting our collective unconscious right now. I agree. I would say just reflecting on how things went previously. I'm doing everything I can to not like doom predict, to have doom anxiety. And I saw a meme this morning. It was like, stop doom scrolling. Don't forget to doom drink water and doom walk outside. Take your doom walk outside. don't forget to do that. And doom eat breakfast. Because I haven't been doing awesome about eating breakfast. I notice one of the first things to get wonky for me is my eating habits when I'm stressed. And oh boy, do I want all the sugar. I really had to fight with myself to have like avocado toast instead of mini wheats. And I want mini wheats. But I have to have a little pact with myself that if I'm gonna have sugar, I have to have a protein rich breakfast first. And once I have that, like the craving for the sugar knocks off. But I like to have a go to in my arsenal when, like, man, I just really, really want something sweet. Um, but I need to have like a square breakfast, you know, peanut butter toast. And I recently tried a new bread because that's all that was available on the grocery delivery. It's this Dave's Killer Bread. It's got like a cartoon guy with like a guitar on it. But I was reading their little label, and they're a second chance employer. I thought that was really cool. Let's get a card for the persona. But peanut butter toast with a whole grain bread. That's a nice warm breakfast with a little bit of sweetness in it. That's got the balanced like protein, carbs, and fat. Just my 2 cents. Eat what you want. So the persona, the very outer part of our mask. I guess the mask itself. This one. Page of Wands. Okay. Cool. Interesting card. So the student of will, she came out backwards. I love this, like, abstract art, because this is all very realistic, and then this is very abstract. It's got the pyramids in the background. I want to see what the author says about this one. Pentacles. Pentacles. Swords. I want none of these. So this book only has upright meaning, so we'll just read it upright and then interpret reverse. So blocked energy. The Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is related to the Ace, except that the gift in the Ace comes from above and the Page's gift originates with herself. That is to say, the Page of Wands holds a spiritual gift. She is just starting out in life, but she has a calm and centeredness that allows her gift to reveal keen insights in spiritual truths. She may or may not understand the value of this gift. Maybe you're the Page of Wands and you have yet to acknowledge or understand your spiritual gift. Or maybe the Page of Wands is someone close to you. Okay. So, our spirit might be a little bit blocked right now. Which I get. I get. A lot of reversed energy in here. So, I mean, it's just barely squeaking out the uprights. I want more. More. Let's see. I want to know just more about the Page of Wands. What gift is blocked? What gift is blocked? Knight of Wands. So, okay. And that's in the upright. And this is very, like, take action. I just love the car in this. It's amazing. So what? Is that why the Page is blocked? Because we're no longer the Page and we're the Knight now? So we're not as novice as we thought we were? A little further on the path than we thought we were with our gift? I still need more. And I've always thought of, like, the relationship between the Page and the Knight as, like, the message and the messenger. So, like, the author and the Pony Express, because they're on horses. So what is the gift? I want to know. Page of Cups. Okay, so a message. This is definitely like the message card. And it's a surprise because, like, there's a fish in her cup. It's very surprising. Let's see. I want to see what the author said about the Page of Cups. And it's sticking with the red theme. For sure. Definitely got like a Baywatch thing going on. Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is enjoying a cold drink at the beach when she gets a surprise, a fish in her cup. But she's not upset about this surprising turn of events. Instead, she is charmed and delighted. The Page of Cups is related to the Four of Cups in that it's about a gift coming from an unexpected place. The difference is the subject's mood. The journeyer in the Four of Cups has turned inward to sadness, while the page is free, open, and happy. The seaside, again, represents her intuition, while the fish is inspiration that comes seemingly from nowhere when one is in one's right mind. Hmm. So maybe this gift is a surprise. Maybe that's why I'm getting all these court cards. But once you discover your gift, your individual gift, hit the gas. Just hit that gas. um, you want to keep your eyes on the road, whatnot. But if you've got a clear shot, gun it, hit it. I That's very antithetical to how I typically am. I like to take calculated risks. There's something about this though that, like, self-doubt or something has cleared and that we're further along than we thought we were. And then you'll be delighted to find this gift and then just go for it, whatever it is, wherever it's leading you, the open road. Hmm. Cool. Let's get some oracle cards to kind of round out the reading. So we'll grab this for the shadow side. And she's got some great like meditation and visualization ideas in here. Good for shadow work, for getting in touch with those repressed parts of self. And repressed sometimes by your upbringing, by societal convention, by shame, by toxic shame, or just an unwillingness to accept those parts of ourselves for any of the aforementioned reasons or other. Because those parts that get repressed, there's generally a reason for it. And at least in my experience, it's survival. It's a survival mechanism out of fear of, not being accepted by your caregivers, or you don't want to be the weird kid at school, because for some reason, which I think I understand, um, you don't really embrace your weirdness until later in life. Like, for the most part, some people were fortunate enough to get that acceptance gene that I don't like, the acceptance of self that I didn't seem to naturally get. But at least I'm starting to understand now that I'm closer to 40 than I'm not. I'd much rather be weird than normal. Much prefer. Me and my little cards. Forget normalcy. It's boring. Convention. Ah, who needs it? Going with that one. Yeah. Spirit of Isis. The triumph of the goddess. And you can also use her Kemetic name, Osset, if you don't want to, or if you're afraid of ending up on a list. Beautiful card. It looks like she's got the crook, the Pharaoh's crook, shepherd's crook, the vulture's crown, and the horn disc, the horn sun disc crown. Interesting combination. I think those, I've seen those combined before. It's just never been this like ornate. Let's see what the book says. Beloved initiate, there are times to surrender and let go, but there are never times to give up. Persist with your bold faith and inspired action until the impossible happens. Isis has the spirit of triumph and will never fail in her quest, no matter how bold or impossible it seems. Believe. Very poignant for right now. So I'm going to read this first paragraph and then see what she's got for a meditation in here. So it says, it is helpful on the inner path to let go and detach over and over again. And yet we need to stay true to our heart and not give up on what we feel we are here to do. Whether it is reaching for enlightenment, for inner peace, for a creative breakthrough, or personal healing, the triumph of the goddess is with you now, urging you to not give up. No matter how far away or impossible success may seem to be, don't quit. Persist until the impossible happens. So she's got a little ritual here. But I'll give you the incantation. So this might be something you can say, something you can repeat. You can write it down, keep it in your pocket, whatever works for you. So the incantation of the spirit of Isis. You can say this incantation at any time you need some pep and encouragement in order to not give in to fear or doubt and instead to have faith. Spirit of Isis, enduring and bright, your love more powerful than might. I went too far. Your triumph assured in any fight, I center myself in the truth of your light. Your love makes the impossible real. I go into my heart and feel. The success is coming to me at this time. I give thanks for your blessing divine. That's really nice. And even that little blunder of like, I went too far and I mixed up the pages and whatnot. But, just take time to like woosah and go back and just figure out where you got lost. So we'll grab a Women of Myth card here. I love this cardstock, the purple and gold. So cool. So we'll be grabbing this for the ego side. So someone to meditate on, maybe to bring forth this gift, some wisdom in their myth might be available to us. We'll see who comes forth. I like this deck because it's got 3 different categories and it's got women from various pantheons too. It's not restricted to just one. Thought that was pretty cool. Keep almost losing my grip. Ooh, okay. Cool. All Carisi, the Night Stalker. I like those little tendrily fingers. And she's got skulls woven in her hair. She looks like an apparition. African? From an African pantheon? Maybe? I'm guessing. I'm totally guessing. It's really cool. I don't know. You guys can see, the camera will pick up how beautiful this art is, but it's got kind of like a wooden effect to her face. Let's see what the book says. All Carisi. I hope I'm saying that right. So the keywords are, okay, nightmares, anxiety, and restlessness, which totally get that that's coming out in the material realm, especially right here over the ego with the Nine of Cups in reverse. So her story, all Carisi, is a demon associated with childbirth in the stories from the Caucasus of the Middle East and Central Asia. She is said to bring misfortune to pregnant women in their sleep, either causing miscarriage or kidnapping newborns. Card meeting. This card represents depression, nightmares, fearing the dark, anxiety, and racing thoughts. You may fear the worst as you toss and turn on sleepless nights. Her advice: you need to rest. A good night's sleep, a mindful meditation, even a vacation is in order. Above all, take care of your mental and emotional space so that you can be more fully present in the current moment instead of fixating on past worries or future fears. So, kind of a brutal card. Um, fitting though for right now. And definitely want to like trigger warning on any reproductive issues that might be going on, but stress is a real thing. That is like no joke, you know. Um, I myself have dealt with a miscarriage, and if that is something you have gone through or are going through, I'm so sorry. Uh, I know how hard that is, and I hope present events aren't affecting you so deeply that that occurs. My advice that I will always give for any situation: talk to a professional. I am a huge advocate of therapy. The first and foremost thing that I did when I went through that experience was blame myself. It's a natural response, and it's not deserved. It and outside of that specific scenario, nightmares, anxiety, restlessness, if you're having trouble, talk to a professional. There's no sense in waiting, no sense in putting it off. It's going to take so long to get an appointment. If you're feeling like you need it, get one on the books and cancel it if you don't. No harm, no foul. Just be mindful of their cancellation policy. So let's get a rune. I feel like we need a rune on these. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'll need a dice. Dice. Die. Let's see. Birkenau. Oop. Kind of came out sideways. So in motion. So Birkenau, however you say that. Birch trees. So this is the rune of spring, if I recall correctly. Also the feminine rune. The design of the rune here has been, I've seen interpretations of that as like looking down at a woman from above. And I think fitting for Birkenau to come out during this reading. Let's see. Let's get some keywords. Birkenau. I feel like I'm saying that very American. I'm sure I am. Where is it? Right, though. Gebo. Goodness gracious, where is this? Yara. Okay. Birkenau, Pyrcan. So translation: birch or birch goddess. Birth, new beginnings, family, growth, regeneration. Primary themes: a very positive rune. Birkenau symbolizes new beginnings. This can take the form of a new project, a new relationship, a new spiritual development, or a new idea that leads to successful outcomes. The universal energies are fertile and lined up for bringing forth new manifestations. Oh, good for the 1111 portal. So you are in excellent position to begin your next adventure. Birkenau is known as the birth rune and can indicate the actual birth of a child, a wedding, or other happy family occasion. So this rune is a very good sign for women who are trying to conceive. So yeah, they mentioned the archetypal Earth Mother, so looking down, as if that's why the rune is shaped that way. I'm trying to avoid the actual word for her lady bits. So let's see. Additional meanings. The translation is birch, a highly revered tree associated with renewal and regeneration. The birch was among the first trees that returned to reforest the land after the last ice age, and is one of the first trees to leaf out in spring. So the magical uses are fertility, female health, strengthen family ties, love, protection, bringing ideas into physical manifestation, and creativity. So I think it's a nice counterbalance to the negativity, the negative associations, to this card, to this figure here, the Night Stalker, Al-Kharisi, that, and I am not a medical professional by any stretch of the imagination, so take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I would encourage this as a sign of hope, or as just bring the stress level down, to benefit the female health, like it had mentioned in the one of the key meanings. Um, Not a professional. This is for entertainment purposes only. I cannot advise you on anything. If there is any way for you to bring down your stress in a moment of panic, even if you're not dealing with like reproductive stuff, that is a beneficial tool to have in the tool belt. Um, Living with PTSD, I deal with things like panic attacks, flashbacks, things like that. One of the things I find really helpful is I keep disposable ice packs, the ones you can kind of like slam on your leg, and um, they get cold really quickly. And you slap those on your neck, and it works quite well if there's no um, other available source of coolness. Like I've had to pull over my car and you know grab some snow off of the roof of my car and put it on my neck to bring the heart rate down really quickly. I try to be a little more prepared than that nowadays. Now that I know those come on and how fast they come on. Let's get a little self-care, maybe lift the mood a little bit. That would be ideal, because there's a couple of energies kind of fighting with each other. So there may be you might be struggling with these two very contradictory things happening. Because it's so interesting that the more negative card came out in the ego side, and the more positive card came out in the shadow. But maybe those positive emotions are so hidden that they're just repressed right now. So be kind to yourself. I know this got into a heavy topic that can be really difficult to deal with, whether or not it's you or a loved one, but there's going to be a lot of those topics coming up, and we'll be talking about them. And they're important to talk about, as difficult as they are to discuss. They require discussing. get something special for your pet. Oh, my cat's gonna love that. I find that to be very helpful when I'm struggling with difficult emotions is to go take care of someone else. And a pet is an excellent avenue for that. Great excuse to play with them, to, snag a little toy from Target, from grocery store, like wherever you happen to be. I'll try to find whatever um, catnip toy isn't already in her arsenal. But she loves the interactive toys, toys that I'm on the other end of, that it's not her just being entertained by herself, like the wand toys. She loves those. Ooh, Titans. I'm just taking that one since a bunch flipped over. So that's a really good show. Definitely dark, like heavy. Not this flavor of heavy, but heavy. Um, that is the adult version of like Teen Titans Go. Um, it's like the adult Robin story. Really recommend. I don't think that show got great reviews, but I loved it. I'm definitely biased since I enjoy Batman so much, but great show, a great activity. And if you don't have a pet of your own, consider adopting. Adopt, don't shop. Just my personal recommendation. There are lots and lots of pets looking for a home if that's a responsibility that you can take on. Having a little furry companion has been so invaluable to me going through the pandemic. Um, my life would not be complete without a pet. That they are a must have in my life now and forever. If you cannot take on that responsibility, maybe you can pet sit for a friend, volunteer at a local shelter, um, something like that. And you might, just get something special for a friend who might be going through a difficult time right now. Hopefully, nothing as extreme as what was mentioned in that card, but that's the energy of the Six of Pentacles in the upright is charity and or that generosity of self, of giving equally, of once our needs are taken care of, once our oxygen mask is on, being able to extend a hand to the people and pets in our lives, and plants. Don't forget the plants. Know a lot of people with succulents. They are important too. They are living things and they require care. That could be another option. If you're looking to take on something really difficult, you could go the route of a bonsai tree, but I digress. So, overall, a lot going on in the fields right now. Take it easy on yourself. Try and put your feet up where you can. So, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.